Dubai looks calm only from a distance. Up close, the city breathes secrets. Neon lights reflect on glass towers. Luxury cars pass without sound. Somewhere between the skyline and the desert, truths are buried quietly, without graves, without names. People believe Dubai is built on ambition, but ambition needs protection, and protection needs silence. This story begins on a night that was never meant to exist. A private villa hidden deep inside Emirates Hills. Tall walls, tinted gates, no address, no digital footprint. The kind of place that doesn't appear on maps, only in whispers. Security guards stand still, not watching the guests, but watching each other. Inside, everything is expensive. The music is low. Conversations are lower. Crystal glasses clink softly. No phones, no photos. Everyone here understands the rule: nothing leaves this room. Several powerful men move through the space. Investors, executives, fixers. Faces that never appear on news channels, but whose decisions move money, land, and people. And then there are the women, carefully selected, temporary, replaceable. Among them is a young woman known as Mira. That is not her real name. None of the women use real names. Mira is observant, quiet. Her smile is practiced, but her eyes are sharp. She listens more than she speaks. She notices who avoids eye contact, who whispers, who watches the exits. She notices patterns. The same men, the same conversations, the same promises repeated to different people. As the night progresses, Mira hears things she was never meant to hear. Deals discussed casually. Threats hidden inside jokes. Laughter that feels rehearsed. By midnight, she knows too much. By 1 a.m, fear settles in her stomach. Near the balcony, she sees a woman who doesn't belong to this world. A woman standing straight, calm, distant. Not dressed to impress, but to command respect. Her name is Aisha Malik. Aisha is a CEO. Indian-born, Dubai-made. Real estate, logistics, clean businesses. The kind of woman whose calendar is booked months in advance. She attends this gathering only because refusing would have cost her millions. Myra approaches her slowly. Her voice is barely audible. Be careful who you trust here. Aisha turns, surprised. She studies Mira's face, trying to understand the urgency behind the warning. Before she can respond, Mira steps back into the crowd. That is the last time anyone sees her alive. Morning arrives quietly. Near the service entrance of a luxury hotel, a body is discovered. A young woman, no identification. No signs of struggle. The police arrive. Photos are taken. Statements are short. The official explanation comes quickly. Alcohol, accident, fall, case closed. But accidents don't erase CCTV footage, and accidents don't make witnesses disappear. 3 hours later, Aisha Malik's phone vibrates. Unknown number. She ignores it. It vibrates again and again. When she finally answers, there is only breathing on the other end. Slow, controlled. Then the line disconnects. A message appears. Forget what you know. Aisha stares at the screen. Her mind flashes back to the party, to Myra's eyes. To that warning, our chest tightens, not with fear, but with realization. This is not random. As she exits her building, the morning sun reflects off glass towers. Her armored SUV waits outside. The door opens. Her bodyguard stands there. His name is Araf. Tall, broad-shouldered. .com, ex-Special Forces. He has the posture of someone trained to survive chaos. He has protected Aisha for over a year, ever since anonymous threats followed a land acquisition deal. He says little, observes everything. As the car moves onto Sheikh Zayed Road, the city wakes up around them. Aisha breaks the silence. A girl died last night. Arif's eyes meet hers through the mirror. Accidents happen, he says. Do they? Aisha replies. He doesn't answer. Silence fills the car. Over the next few days, Dubai forgets. Social media moves on. Stock prices rise. Influencers post. Mira's name disappears like it never existed. But Aisha can't forget. She starts digging quietly. Emails sent late at night. Calls to old contacts. Meetings that don't appear on calendars. Patterns emerge. Private villas. Same investors. Same women. Same endings. Always ruled accidental. One night, alone in her penthouse, city lights flickering behind her. Aisha accesses archived security footage from the villa. Most cameras are blank, deleted, malfunctioning. But one clip remains. Grainy. Distant. A figure crosses the frame. Broad shoulders, controlled movement. A military walk she recognizes instantly. Her breath stops. It looks like Arif. No, she whispers. Doubt settles in her chest. The next morning, she decides to test him. She tells Arif she has a meeting with investigators. A lie. As they drive, she watches everything. His hands, his breathing. The way his eyes scan reflections. She casually suggests an alternate route. His jaw tightens. This road isn't safe, he says. Aisha looks ahead. Neither is the truth. The car slows as the city fades into empty industrial land. Rusted warehouses, broken fences. Silence. She steps out. The wind carries dust across the road. Tell me the truth, she says. Right now, Arif looks at her. For the first time, he looks conflicted. Then a voice breaks the silence. She knows too much. A man steps forward from the shadows. Expensive suit, cold eyes. One of the guests from the villa, Aisha's heart drops. This was planned. She realizes something terrifying. Mira wasn't the target. She was the warning. And now, Aisha is next. The moment Aisha realizes it's a setup, time slows down. The man in the expensive suit steps closer, his shoes crunching on gravel. His expression is calm, almost bored, like this is just another task on a long list. Behind him, the empty warehouses feel suddenly alive, every shadow a threat. Aisha looks at Arif. For a split second, she expects him to step aside. He doesn't. Instead, he moves in front of her. Not aggressively, protectively. Get back, Arif says quietly, his voice steady. The man smiles. She was warned, he replies. Now she's curious. Aisha's heart is pounding so loudly, she's sure they can hear it. Her mind races. Mira, the message, the footage. Everything connects too neatly to be coincidence. Why her? Aisha asks, forcing her voice to stay calm. The man shrugs. Wrong place, wrong time, wrong questions. The air feels heavy, charged. Then everything explodes. A gunshot cracks through the silence. Dust erupts from the ground. Arif moves instantly, grabbing Aisha's arm, pulling her down behind the SUV. Another shot shatters a side mirror. Glass rains onto the asphalt. Aish can't breathe. She hears Araf shouting commands, his voice sharp, controlled. He fires back, precise, measured. This isn't panic. This is training. The man in the suit falls. Silence returns, broken only by Aisha's shaking breath. Arav scans the area, weapon raised, eyes moving fast. After a long moment, he lowers the gun. "It's over," he says. Aisha stares at the body on the ground. Blood spreads slowly, dark against the dust. What did you just do?" she whispers. Arv looks at her, and for the first time, his mask slips. "I bought us time." Police sirens arrive far too quickly. Too perfectly. As officers swarm the scene. Questions are asked, statements recorded, weapons confiscated. The narrative forms itself effortlessly. Self-defense, armed threat neutralized. Case closed. Aisha notices how efficiently it happens. No curiosity, no follow-up, just procedure. That night, Araf disappears. No resignation, no explanation. His apartment is empty. His phone disconnected. His digital footprint wiped clean, as if he never existed. Dubai absorbs him without a trace. Days pass. Aisha returns to work. Meetings, contracts, interviews. She performs stability flawlessly. The media praises her strength, her composure, her leadership. But inside, she is unraveling. She replays the footage again and again. The way Arav moved. The way the police arrived. The way the truth was packaged neatly and sealed. She realizes something terrifying. Arav wasn't just her bodyguard. He was a gatekeeper. Weeks later, an envelope arrives at her office. No return address. Inside is a single USB drive and a note. "You deserve the full story." That night, Aisha locks herself inside her penthouse. Curtains drawn, phone off. She plugs in the drive. What appears on the screen changes everything. Hidden recordings, audio files, surveillance clips, names, dates, transactions, a network of private gatherings, luxury villas, shell companies, and controlled narratives. Women recruited, silenced, erased. And at the center of it, all security, handlers. Men like Araf, but not in the way she expects. The final file plays. Araf's voice fills the room. "If you're watching this, it means I failed to keep you out of this." He explains everything. He was embedded years ago. A private security contractor working inside a covert protection network for elite clients. His job wasn't just protection, it was damage control. Identify risks, remove threats, quietly. Mira had been flagged as a risk, but she wasn't supposed to die. "She tried to warn you," Araf says. "That wasn't part of the plan." Aisha feels sick. Araf continues. "When I realized you were next, I broke protocol. The industrial area, the confrontation, the man in the suit, all of it was to force the system to reset," he says. "But now they know I'm compromised." The video ends with one final sentence. "Trust no one." Aisha sits in silence. The city outside glows, unaware. She understands now. This isn't about one crime, or one woman, or one night. It's a machine, and machines don't stop unless they're exposed. The next morning, Aisha books a flight. Destination, London. Official reason, a global transparency summit. Unofficial reason, survival. As her plane lifts off, she watches Dubai shrink beneath the clouds. Beautiful, untouchable, dangerous. She doesn't know if Arav is alive. She doesn't know if she's being followed. But she knows one thing for certain. The truth is no longer buried. And in part 3, someone will try to bury her. London feels colder than Dubai, even in daylight. The sky is gray, heavy, like it knows something is coming. Aisha watches the city from her hotel window, her reflection faint in the glass. She hasn't slept since the flight. Every sound feels amplified. Every shadow feels intentional. The summit is scheduled for noon. Transparency in global markets. The title almost makes her laugh. Downstairs, journalists gather. Cameras adjust. Microphones are tested. This is supposed to be safe ground, public, visible. But Aisha has learned the most dangerous lies are told in daylight. As she walks toward the venue, she feels it. She's being watched, not followed openly, not chased, just observed. The kind of attention you only notice when you've been trained to notice it. Inside the hall, everything looks perfect. Flags, screens, polished smiles. World leaders, CEOs, applause timed perfectly. Aisha takes her seat backstage. Her phone vibrates. Unknown number. One message. Last chance. Walk away. Her hands tremble, just slightly. She doesn't reply. When her name is announced, the applause is loud, respectful, controlled. She walks onto the stage. Lights blind her for a moment, and the room comes into focus. Hundreds of faces, some curious, some nervous, some already angry. She begins with prepared remarks, safe words, neutral tone. Then she stops. She looks directly into the camera. There are systems, she says slowly, designed not to protect people, but to protect power. A murmur spreads. She continues. Tonight, I'm releasing evidence of private networks operating above the law. Networks that silence women, manipulate investigations, and erase human lives. Gasps, whispers, phones raised. Screens behind her light up. Documents, audio clips. Faces blurred, but voices clear. Mira's voice. The warning, the breathing on the phone. Arif's confession. The room explodes. Security rushes toward the stage. Too late. The files are already live. Across platforms, across borders. Aisha steps back as chaos unfolds. Shouting, arguments, panic, and then she sees him. In the far corner of the hall, Arav, not hiding, not running, watching their eyes meet. This time, he doesn't nod. He looks relieved. Security drags Aisha away for her own safety. Questions are shouted. Accusations thrown. She's escorted to a secure room. Hours pass. Her phone is returned. Hundreds of messages, some threats, some support, some from numbers she doesn't recognize. One message stands out. From Arav, you did what I couldn't. Before she can reply, another message arrives. From an unknown contact. You think this ends us? That night, as London sleeps uneasily, arrests begin quietly. Not enough. Not the biggest names. Just enough to calm the public. Dubai issues statements, denials, promises of internal reviews. The machine adapts. Aisha understands the truth now. Exposure doesn't destroy power. It reshapes it. Days later, she leaves London under protection. Her life is no longer hers. Every movement is monitored. Every conversation recorded. At an airport lounge, waiting for a connecting flight, she sits alone. A man approaches. Plain clothes, calm smile. Ms. Malik, he says. I'm with an international task force. We'd like to work with you. She looks up at him. How do I know you're not part of it? He pauses. You don't. She smiles faintly. That's the problem. She boards the plane anyway. As it takes off, her phone vibrates one last time. A final message from Arv. No matter what they say, you survived. She looks out at the clouds. Mira didn't survive. Many didn't. But the silence is broken now. Here, and silence, once shattered, never fully returns. Somewhere between cities, between systems, between truth and power. The story doesn't end. It waits.